Hello everyone, this is a video about retro gaming. So this is my second channel. My first channel, Kakiak, is where I mainly upload. And I haven't really had the time to upload videos here. I made two videos under the school year, which was, what was it? It was two videos about my video game collecting. And then I just didn't really have time for this second channel, but now it's summer, I have a little more time, so that means I can make more videos on here. I'm mainly gonna be doing like bloopers and commentaries on that are based, bloopers from the videos from my main channel and commentaries on videos on my main channel. So it's gonna be like a lot centered on the main channel, but this is also a thing I want to do. I just want to talk about things unscripted, just sort of go and because I don't need to really edit these videos because it's just me talking to the camera. It's not like a Kakiak video, which is, showing all this footage and stuff, filming all these things. So this is just a simpler form of that. We're gonna be talking about retro gaming, which is something I am interested in. So here's the thing. Gaming nowadays it's fun. Like, games nowadays are fun. They're obviously better graphics, and they're more evolved than older games. I think both of them have their pros and cons. Like, we have now new games can be very expensive. We have DLCs. We have all this stuff that isn't that much fun. Older games have more charm into them. I feel like, but of course older games have their problems as well. They're old, and some of them, a lot of old games stink. Like all of the License to Kids game that were games that are based on movies. I mean, they're just there to earn money. They're nothing more than that. But retro gaming is a little interesting today because when you think of retro gaming, you think of the NES, the SNES, the Genesis. But now the Wii, the PS3, and the 360 can be considered retro because they're 20 years old. And I think GameStop has been starting labeling these consoles as retro, which I think is a little interesting. So it definitely shows that retro can nowadays it's a lot more because video game consoles have gotten older and older and older, obviously. But yeah, which is I just think that's very interesting because now retro gaming is both a thing from the 80s and from the 2000s. So it's very different when you think about it, because an NES game is nowhere the same as a PS3 or Xbox 360 or a Wii, even a Wii. That's not the same thing at all. Why would you invest in retro gaming? Well, some of the best games created of all time and some of the most revolutionary are retro. Not all of them, obviously. We have gotten very good games these recent years, but a lot of old games are still some of the best out there, and it's fun to because obviously they have aged a little bit. Like Mario 64, for example. That game, the camera controls, not the best, but it's just cool to go back and see this game was really ahead of its time when it came out, and it's just cool to imagine that damn, what if I was in 1996 and playing this game? I would have been blown away. Now you're an ass blown away, maybe because we have Red Dead. That's much more impressive, but still, it's a good game. I love Mario 64. And I think it's just special to sit down and play a retro game on its original hardware with an original controller, original console, original cartridge. It's just charming. There's just something about it that I really like. But yeah, the other reason why I like collecting retro games is because it's stupid. All the Shrek games that have become a running gag in my videos. I don't know, it's just stupid. I bought Kung Fu Panda. Kung Fu Panda on PS3, and I played it with a couple of friends, and it was just hilarious. So it's just fun to just collect the classics like GoldenEye 07 or N64, Mario Kart, all the Mario Karts, but and the Zelda games, whatever. There's so many games out there, but then there's also the stupid ones that are just fun to collect because they're they're not good, but they're fun to play because they're bad. They're so bad that they get great, and I think that's very funny. Plus, it's fun to have for jokes and videos. But yeah, So retro gaming is obviously very expensive, especially for things like controllers. I mean, they don't make GameCube controllers anymore, really. Oh well, I guess they do for like Switch 2, but like original GameCube controllers, they don't make them anymore, which means they can be a little hard to find. Plus, like, the market changes. Like, a game can be very, very, very cheap, and then out of nowhere becomes super expensive. And then there are some games that always stay expensive, and then there are some games that like are always cheap. Like the Madden, FIFA. Those games are always like after the next those games come out every year. So after the next game comes out, the game before it becomes irrelevant and becomes like super cheap. And it's not only that, like, games can just drop in value or get higher in value. Like, it can happen, and like it's like random. Like a game like Mario 64 is like, it's a good game, but it's so cheap because there's a lot of copies of it. But a game like, say, Wind Waker, this game is also very liked and critically acclaimed, but that game is hella expensive because it released on a console that did not sell well, the GameCube. So obviously it's much more rarer. So it's not always, it is about the quality. Like a really bad game, of course, isn't gonna be that, except like NES games can be very expensive even though they're not good. But like often it's about the quality, and often it's about what the console it releases on. But yeah, it goes up and down a lot, and it really depends. You can't just like oh, the Mario games, they're all the same price. No, they're not gonna be the same price because the console they released on, like Mario 64 is probably cheaper than like Sunshine, because Sunshine sold less copies, so they're more rare. But yeah. Now, of course, there's some cons with this. I've already mentioned that all the games are not that good, but like older TVs do not. No. Now, other, like, I guess cons is like new TVs, they don't support AV, which is a little annoying because a lot of the consoles back then only supports AV. HDMI was unheard of. So that's like, it's a little annoying. I found a pretty cheap small TV that supports AV. I'm pretty happy I got that, but it's hard, really, and it's not easy, and even if you get like an HDMI AV transformer, it's not like, because like I have one of those for my N64, but like when you have a 30-year-old console on a TV that's relatively new, it doesn't look good. So it's better to get an older TV, but that costs more. Plus, you need a controller, you need games. Some of them can be very, very expensive, and also you need a console, obviously. But it can be very expensive with retro. But I think what makes it stand out is the feeling, just like playing this like old game on original hardware, original controller, all of that. And secondly, like it's a break from modern gaming, because retro gaming has some of the things that modern don't. And of course, when I say that, modern gaming of course has some better things than retro, but retro also has some better things than modern. So if you're like tired of some of the bad sides about modern, it can be nice to go back to retro. Plus, it's more nostalgic, especially if you grew up, like I grew up with the Wii and PS3, so playing those is just like, it wakes up memories. That's very nice. And I think this reason may not apply to all, but like all of the stupid games out there, like Shrek games, whatever may exist out there, I don't know, but you know, all of the stupid games, like the License to Kids games, and just all of those that aren't specifically good, but they're still just fun to play because they're so bad. And I don't know, today games aren't that ridiculous in that way. Games are bad, obviously, today also, but like they don't really make a lot of License to Kid games anymore, for example. So that charm is all gone. But yeah, that was just me ranting about retro games. I did this completely unscripted. I just talked, but yeah, I think it's fun to try that, because I usually talk scripted, a lot of times, you know, for the Kaikak videos I can't, okay, some of them are improvised, some like scenes can be improvised, but they're very scripted. But yeah, have a great day and I'll see you next time.